Hi everybody, John Fester here. Welcome to the first episode of your Tech Tips by John Fester. And thank you for being here. I hope you learned something out of this. I have a lot of knowledge that I want to share to you, but we're trying to keep this short, 10-15 minutes tops. So what I'm going to share to you is some basic information. Then what I'm going to do is post a link to this video to a little cheat sheet that I set up that's going to help you kind of follow along what we're about to share with you, what I'm about to tell you. To start with, email phishing. This is an area I want to cover with you because here at TPI recently we've partnered with a great company, KnowBe4. Now it's not a company probably that you're going to enlist with, but as a corporation, fantastic. And basically what they're doing is providing me the ability to test our staff with emails. Now everybody knows that email phishing is a big thing in the world. Probably the fastest growing form of attack. Everybody knows what a virus is, and there's different ways that you can obtain a virus, but email phishing is a totally different approach. Email phishing sends you an email as somebody else, and they're phishing for information. You can imagine somebody they're trying to gain something from it. And while it's spelled a little differently, it's the same concept. Somebody's trying to obtain something from you that you don't want them to obtain. The way that they're approaching this is by sending out an email as somebody else, somebody that you do recognize. Sometimes it's a company. A very common one is FedEx. And I talk about the FedEx emails a lot, but there's malicious people out there that send emails as if they're FedEx, or Bank of America is another big one. And what they're trying to do is get people to open those emails, click on a link to log into their bank account, or to click here because a FedEx package was not delivered. So click here to fix that, right? And my response to that is, if you didn't ship something via FedEx, why are you opening that email? But they send this. Now, it's not FedEx sending it. It's not that somebody hacked their server or that something malicious is going on inside of FedEx, but these are people sitting in different countries, different locations around the world, and they spoof or they fake an email to appear as if it was sent from FedEx. So now you receive an email that says, hey, here's an email from FedEx and your parcel cannot be delivered. We're having trouble, so click here to enter new information, or click here to check the status. You click on that link, and the next thing you know is you've arrived either on a web page that you know right away is not FedEx. It's too late. Probably you already got malicious content, or they already obtained what they want. Or you land on a website that looks identical to FedEx's website, but it's not. Excuse me. And basically what the bad people have done is they've mimicked a fake website to look exactly like FedEx. Why? Why go through this trouble? The ultimate goal is for you to type in your credentials. You're going to try to log in thinking that it's really FedEx, and it's not. So now they have your username and password. Now you think to yourself, well, big deal. They have my FedEx account. It is a big deal. It's a big deal because they could ship stuff as you. But that's not the biggest deal. The biggest deal is that in the world, most people use the same username and password for everything. So that would be a strong tip. Get yourself a software that can keep track of all your passwords. Don't use the same password on everything. And there's recommendations I can make. I use a particular software that I pay a yearly fee for. But this way I remember one password. Is the password to access that application. Inside that application are all of my other passwords, and they're all unique. So if somebody does obtain one of my passwords somehow, they're limited to that system alone. But let's get back on track here. Phishing emails is all about obtaining your information for use with something else. There's a big one with Bank of America. Instead of spelling the word America, A-M-E-R, they spelled it Arnerica, A-R-N. The R and the N together, at first glance, looks like it says America. So people receive this, and quickly we're clicking on this thinking, oh, this is an email legit from Bank of America. They logged in, or they tried to log in, and next thing they knew, their funds were being transferred somewhere else because now the malicious person had their username and password logged into their Bank of America and started malicious activity. So how do you know if an email is phishing? You get an email, say from your friend, and you look at first glance, it looks good, and all this email is saying is, check out this photo here, click here. One test that I did around the office that this company KnowBe4 helps me with is they provide the ability for me to test our staff. I create a fake email and then I push it out to all of our staff. Now this fake email is going to, the last one I did was really clever, and it was all about Facebook. Basically, the email went out and it said, you were tagged in a photo. One of your friends tagged you in a photo, click here. And you've all probably gotten that email from Facebook when you've actually been tagged. So it's very short, has a link in there, and you can click on it to view that photo. So I created this really cleverly using our profile image from Facebook for our private Facebook page, and I sent it out to our staff. Now, all of our staff already having a Facebook page for TPI believe that this was real. We take photos around our office, and you probably see on our private page that we post photos, group photos. So our staff, a lot of them thought that this was real. It was Facebook. So what I do with this is I challenge them. I make our staff even learn that there's phishing that can attack or can get into anybody's mailbox. It can get to mine, it can get to yours, it can get to the CEO's. It can get anywhere. So the best computer defense is a smart computer user. We can never depend on software to do it for us. If we're not doing it, then we have to believe that something could happen eventually. So how do you detect these things? Well, there's some simple ways, some pointers, and what I've done is I've created a little cheat sheet here. And this cheat sheet basically gives some different pointers, some tips that you can do, that you basically hang this by your desk wherever you check your email, and whenever you get an email, if a thought goes through your head, well, this could be phishing or something suspicious, you glance at this sheet and it reminds you of what to look for, such as, it might say, click here to go to Facebook. But when you hover your mouse over that link, it's not facebook.com, it's something totally different. I would never click that. As a matter of fact, if I ever get an email like that, I will never click in the email to go to a certain page. Instead, I will open a browser and I will type it in myself, facebook.com. Then I know that if this is a malicious email or not, I'm not going to get affected. But if it's real, I'm logging in, I'm going to check my notifications. So that's one tip. Another way is to look at the sending email address.
John, I'm going to ask you to pause for just a second. For some reason, the image is showing up sideways on everyone's...
Oh, is that what Beatrice is saying?
Yeah.
Beatrice just came in to let me know also.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
You're watching me? I'm
I don't have my computer.
We're rotating. Okay, we're going to try this. I will just hold it from this point forward.
That's just fun.
So there you go.
Sorry, everybody. If everybody's sitting there like this.
Yeah, that was weird.
So this is, if you watched me yesterday, this is only my second Facebook Live. We're using my phone. I don't know if it's a setting on my phone or if it's just that I mounted it wrong. But I've got Doug here. He's helping me out. He's the professional.
Sorry about that. I have absolutely no idea why I did that. But that will.
Well, thank you for saving us, Doug. I'm sure everybody's neck is...
For the past 10 minutes, you've been sideways.
Let's start over. No, I'm kidding. So there are some ways that you can detect if an email is phishing before you click on something. I'm going to post this underneath this video so that you can all download it and print it. Keep it handy. I might update this as time goes along. Give me some suggestions. Moving on, the last thing that I want to mention real quick is PCI standards or PCI guidelines. Now this is important because while a lot of you may believe that this does not affect you, it does not directly mean that you have to do something. I'm not keeping anything on my system that requires me to be under PCI guidelines. Well, I'd like to tell you that that is probably false. If you are storing confidential data, which could be a combination of a person's name along with an home address, a phone number, or a personal name along with a email address and a phone number, then that already qualifies as confidential information. Of course, passports, social security numbers, which you should never have anyways, credit cards, obviously that is confidential information, falls under PCI guidelines. So you're storing this stuff somewhere. You are, because you need to be able to contact your clients back. So how are you storing it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the truth behind PCI guidelines is that it's going to change drastically the beginning of next year. PCI 3.0 is going to come out, and it's very, very restrictive. I'll probably create a document or something more about that later. But what I want to tell you about PCI guidelines right now is this. In order to store this information, this data, securely and under the guidelines, to be compliant with PCI standards, you must have an encrypted form of a database. So your database, wherever you store this information, needs to not just be password locked. That's not sufficient. It needs to be in an encrypted database so that if anybody else, I would never do this. I'm just using myself as an example. But if I somehow obtain your database, if I also know your password, now I have all your data. That's not good. So the standards, the guidelines say that the password it needs to be encrypted so that there's a challenge. Either a question is asked and a password is needed. If I know the answer to the question, the password, I might get access. Or the encryption key. The point is that while storing information, you need to do so securely. There are softwares out there. I'll probably mention a few in the comments that I post below with the link. But what you need to know is, while there are some free ones, you only get out of the free one. You only get what you pay for, right? So if it's free, don't expect gold. Don't expect the platinum service. Don't expect every feature. If it's encrypted and you're secure, that's all you necessitate. That's all you need. That's all you require. But there are other softwares that you could pay for that will be much better options for you. You can send emails from there. You can add activities, some reminders like a birthday. This person just went on a trip, so you want a reminder, welcome them back home, things like that. These are called CRMs, and they're contact record management softwares or applications. There's some companies you can pay a monthly fee to log into their system and access your data that way. It's a secure server. Or there's some applications that you install on your local machine to fulfill the same type of functions, to store your data, send emails, etc. So, what I want to leave you with is this. Know that email phishing is serious out there. There's a lot of it. You most likely already have received some, and if you've gotten a FedEx one or a Bank of America, then you already know that you've received some. But it's not like you've been attacked, it's just people guessing your email addresses. They know that it exists, so they're going to spam you, spoof you, and phish you, hoping to get your login credentials and information. So read the email red flag sheet that I'll post up. Keep it handy, read about it, and as time goes along, learn more. You might type in protection against phishing emails and just learn more about it, what it all is, and what you can do to protect yourself. There's not really many softwares that can help you with that. It's really all up to the end user to know what they're opening and what they're clicking on. If you're not expecting a file, don't open it. Well, that's the end of episode 1. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Feel free to post some comments, some questions below. Over the next day or two, I'll be answering those questions and hopefully creating a lot of excitement for the next episode. We're going to do this about once a month. But if you have any suggestions of what you want to see in these episodes in the future, please drop a comment. And feel free to ask any questions. If you have any concerns, then I'm here to help you. And thank you very much for tuning in today.